I already know this movie is going to rip all of our hearts out. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. So today I am doing a tier list ranking of the Guardians of the Galaxy members based on how likely they are to die, aka from most safe to least safe. Someone's biting at us in this movie, maybe all of the Guardians. So before I get into this thing, hit that like button, comment down below which characters you think are most likely to die in this movie, and of course subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 75,000 subscribers here on the channel. It will mean a lot. And stay tuned for my Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 out of theater reaction coming out tomorrow, as well as my review of the movie on Friday. Without further ado, let's dive into this tier list. So the tiers I have are Rest in Peace, Not Looking Good, Up in the Air, Unlikely to Die, and Alive and Well, meaning they will make it through the entire movie. The characters here are randomized. I have the core group of main Guardians, plus other characters who have sort of become Guardians over the course of this franchise. First off, we got Kraglin, who was never really a Guardian of the Galaxy, but then in the holiday special, he kind of became more of one, and it seems like he's going to be a part of this main crew in the final film. Kraglin has always had some funny moments in these films. He's played by Sean Gunn, who's James Gunn's actual brother in real life. And I'll be honest here, I don't think Kraglin's going to die, because I think he is the one character who's got to like carry on the legacy of the Ravagers and Yondu. As you can see in this picture here, he's even got the fin, you know, he was gifted that by Yondu. So I think that it's pretty unlikely that he's gonna die in this movie. I think that it would make sense if he continued on the legacy of the Ravagers. He could die, but it's definitely unlikely that he dies. Next we have Gamora. Now this is not the Gamora that we know and love from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That character died in order for Thanos to retrieve the Soul Stone. This is an alternate version of Gamora who we did see in the end of Endgame, and of course, I still think she's gonna end up falling in love with Peter Quill in this movie. I don't think she's gonna die. There would be no point in bringing in this version of Gamora just to kill her off, because we already saw the main version of her die. It'd be highly dissatisfying to watch that. So honestly, I'm gonna put Gamora in Alive and Well. There's really no need to bring a character back after killing them and then kill them again. So I really do think Gamora will be alive and well at the end of this movie. Again, she could end up biting the dust. All these characters could, but I feel like she is one of the safest just because she's already died in the MCU. So any emotional weight attached with her death would be lessened. Next we have Cosmo, who is by far the safest character on this list. I'll put him in Alive and Well. Cosmo's not dying. All right, you don't kill a cute little puppy like that, a sweet little innocent puppy. That would be so harsh, and I don't think that I'll be able to forgive the MCU if they did that. So Cosmo is alive and well, and it puts a smile on my face to say that. Next, we've got Star-Lord, Peter Quill himself, the main character of this Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. I'll be honest, I'm putting him in Up in the Air. I think this is a character that could die, and it would just be this emotional sacrifice where he sacrificed himself for all the other Guardians to live. It would rip our hearts out without question, but I also just think it would be fitting in a way, right? In the first movie, we obviously saw him lose his mother at the beginning of the film, and he had to deal with that. In the second film, he loses his father, so in this film, he could go. That would be pretty wild and pretty damn good writing. His passion and love for not only Gamora, but the entire group of Guardians shines through in this entire franchise. That's why I go Up in the Air, just because I don't know if they have the guts to kill off the main character of the Guardians films. Plus, the marketing has been pointing some signs to other characters that I'm going to talk about later on this tier list. But still, you can kind of flip a coin. He could die, he could live. It's very up in the air for Star-Lord's fate. Next, we have Nebula, the sister of Gamora, who's come a long way since the first Guardians film back in 2014. Character development, as we like to call it. I think this character is at a point right now where she is not very safe. In fact, I'm gonna put her in Not Looking Good. She could be one of those deaths that's like an inciting incident in a way. I don't know, you know, I could see a world where Gamora and Nebula get to settle down and have a nice life as sisters and live their lives, but I just don't know if everyone's gonna get that sunshine and rainbows ending, and I feel like Nebula is a character who could definitely die, especially considering the projects they might have lined up for her. Like, there is no reason to bring Nebula back after this movie. That's why I think they could go ahead and kill her off. She's not really gonna show up in anything. They're not gonna do a Nebula solo project. She's not gonna be like a cameo in any other project. Feels like this is the end for her, so I feel like Not Looking Good is appropriate. Next, we got Rocket. Now, as we all know, the marketing for this movie has been pointing signs to Rocket being the one to die since the first trailer. It's all about Rocket, and we're getting more of a backstory on him, his youth, especially the High Evolutionary's role in Rocket's life, and the torture and torment Rocket has had to suffer through the years. The line from the trailer where he's like, we'll all fly away together, the music, the one last ride, face the music. Hell, even a bunch of the posters show Rocket at the forefront, really highlighting him as the character who could be not only the main character of the movie, but the one to bite the dust. At a certain point, it almost starts to feel like reverse psychology, where they're like, Rocket's going out, to where it's not actually going to be him. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're faking us out, but I have to put him in Rest in Peace, because I just think Rocket's going to be the one to go. I've been predicting this for years now. A lot of us have, that Rocket would die in the final Guardians film, and I feel like a major character has to go. This seems to be Rocket's movie, kind of closing out his story as well as all the other Guardians. I definitely see Rocket dying in this film, and I'm not prepared. The tears will be flowing for that death. Could even be the saddest death in the MCU, honestly. Next, we got Drax, who I also think is going to die. Now, obviously, we know Dave Bautista has pretty much come out and said, this is the last time I'm ever going to play this character or be in the MCU, so that is already out there, but this character also feels like one whose story is coming to an end. Early on, he wanted to kill Ronan and Thanos for killing his family, and in the first Guardians film, which I just recently rewatched, he hints at how he will be reunited with his wife and kid. I feel like that's a fitting end for this character, to have a hero's death, die in battle, maybe sacrificing himself to save some of his actual new family, the Guardians, and then he could have a warrior's death and be in spirit with his wife and kid. I think he's a goner, but I think Rocket is going to go above him, but both of these characters, I think, are going out and biting the dust in Guardians Volume 3. And again, both these deaths are going to be extremely sad because these are characters that have been around since 2014 that we've grown to know and love. And I just feel like this movie is going to break all of our hearts. I can't emphasize that enough. Next, we have Groot, who I'm going to put in the unlikely category. I will say, honestly, Kraglin has a better chance of dying than Groot, just because, again, we've already seen a version of Groot die in the 2014 film where he sacrificed himself for everybody, and then we saw this rebirth of the character. It would be pretty stupid and pointless to kill off Groot at this point, especially considering we saw his evolution from baby Groot to teen to now almost adult Groot again. I just don't see any world where they kill off a version of Groot twice in the MCU. It'd be too much, so I think that Groot is unlikely to die. And then there was one, and that is Mantis, a character who was introduced in Guardians 2, and in the Guardians Holiday Special, we got a huge revelation that she's actually Peter Quill's half-sister. This is big news, and definitely have some weight in Guardians 3 in terms of the emotional stakes, as there's legitimate family involved here. Mantis is a character, though, who's up in the air. I think Peter Quill goes above her in terms of chance to die, but Mantis is one who could definitely bite the dust. She's a bit newer, so they might not want to kill her off, but she doesn't have as deep of a connection. I feel like she legit plays a crucial role to the plot. Like in the third act, they're going to need her and her powers to go through with whatever their plan might be. So she'll definitely make it to the third act, but I feel like they'll have her around for Drax's death because then we could get her reaction. We see the scene in the trailer of Peter Quill and Mantis audibly reacting in tears to something, which I think is going to be someone dying, either Drax or Rocket. We also see the shot in the trailer where Drax is walking around looking like he just got shot in the chest, so Mantis is going to have to be there for Drax. I just don't think she's going to die. That's why she's up in the air, because she could, but I think they're going to save her more for getting a reaction out of her when other characters die. But yeah, that's my tier list ranking of all these Guardians characters based on how likely they are to die in Guardians 3, which I am actually seeing tomorrow, so stay tuned for my out-of-theater reaction and my review coming on Friday. But here's a quick recap. Rest in peace to Rocket and Drax. I think they're both biting the dust. It's not looking good for Nebula. She definitely is not safe. Peter Quill and Mantis' fate is sort of up in the air. It's unlikely that Kraglin or Groot will die in this movie, and then I think Gamora and Cosmo will be alive and well as the credits roll. But again, this is just my tier list. Let me know down below your predictions for who is the least safe or most safe character in Guardians Volume 3. Who do you think is dying? I need to know, so let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as I have tons of Guardians and Marvel content coming as we approach the release of Volume 3. I'll have a new MCU ranking, tons of tier lists, all that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you guys later.